advanced jungle fighting, you know, in New Guinea. I looked at the Captain Hall and I says, Captain Hall, I says, I told you when you send me to Ranger School, I ain't volunteered. You send me, I go. And I went down there. I don't know how many weeks I was with the Australia. They didn't even wear steel helmets, nothing. They had them like you see the state troopers folded up on the side. Canvas cap. And I fought with them, with the Japs, with the ICOR. Just observer, you know, for advanced training. And I said, boy, oh boy, these guys are good. Here, you know what? They were all in North Africa. They were seasoned. And then when the Japanese took New Guinea, they brought all the Australian troops back to Australia to defend their homeland. You know? And these guys were all seasoned jungle fighters after North Africa. I thought they were the best soldiers in the world. But they're not. Them guys could fight. There's nothing bothered them. I said, of all our troops that I seen, I said, boy, them guys are good. They're good. So I come back to camp again, you know. Then they told us that we're going to go to Rabaul, New Britain Island. Well, I don't have no map. I don't have nothing. So we're trying to get word on Zinzig. Finally found a map, and he showed me the Southwest Pacific, showed where Guadalcanal was. And there was a little major Bougainville battle. We were supposed to go there. Then they changed their mind, and they says, well, we won't ship them to Bougainville. We'll ship them over to Cape Gloucester on New Britain Island. So we went to New Britain Island. Japs were still there, you know. But they were pockets of Japs. No major fight, just patrol skirmishes. They came in from Rabaul. Now listen, the jungle was so bad in New Britain Island. They had Rabaul, which was on this side of the island. We had Cape Gloucester on the other end of the island. The Americans lived on one end. The Japanese had the best part of New Britain Island, which was Rabaul. That's where their staging area was for New Guinea and everything. And the Americans said they'd lose too many troops if they went and took Rabaul. But this way they had a stepping stone, you know, from Guadalcanal to, I call it, New Britain Island. So while I was there, I was writing letters back and forth to home, and with my buddy Jumbo Killian, you know. I put my, I call nickname in there all the time, so they will know who I'm talking about. I told him, I says, hey, I heard gators down on New Britain Island. I said, boy, oh boy, that poor guy, he's getting around wherever he's going, because they censored all your mail, you know. And I'll be darned, it went through. And when Jumbo, that was in the States at that time, he got that, then he knew Gumpy, that's his brother, was on New Britain Island, 1st Marine Division. So he wrote his brother and told him, he said, gators down there with you. And Gumpy knew who relieved us, so he come looking for me. I'll never forget it. He already had 3, 4 original campaign with taking Guadalcanal, lived there for just about a year and a half on Guadalcanal, you know, because we relieved them. Here comes 2 Marines, you know, up to the jungle, because we just tents or whatever we had we could put up when we lived there. Then we'd patrol, you know, that's how we would go. You'd run into skirmish here, there, you know. And I says, holy crap, I look at Gumpy, you know. And he come over, he hugging me and everything. You know. He says, holy man, Gator, he said, you're the only guy I seen since I left home. You know, we were talking. He stayed till dark almost. You know. So we talked, and he says he's going home. I said, well, when you go home, don't tell my people what's down here. I said, there ain't nothing but Kanaks and people running around with grass skirts and bones in their nose. I said, there ain't nothing down here. And he says, all right, Gator, you know. So we talked, and then he went back to his outfit. Here, later on, well, we'll get to that later on. The poor guy, he had all that campaign under him. He's supposed to go home. Then your government says, no, they're going to go to Palau Island and take that up there. So they went to Palau Island, and it was fortified so bad they had to bring in another Marine division. They shot up the Marine division so bad. They had cement pillbox. They didn't know all that. You know, they had no inside information. Gumpy got killed. You know, he never come back home. So anyway, they keep him down there. So on hike off, after that hike off on Cape Gloucester, we all got broke in, most of us, you know, to combat, because they were skirmishes all the time. The Japanese would come up at night and land a whole bunch of troops in there, and then they'd harass you, you know. Then you'd go out and try to clean them up, which is a hard way to fight a war, but that's the way, and these skirmishes. You know. So from there, orders come, we're going to go somewhere. They won't tell you where. You know, they said, we're leaving. So, okay, we'll leave, you know. But while we were down there, I found out, I says, holy Christ. I was down there, and I says, 3 months, Jim, it did nothing but rain. 3 months. Go out on patrol, come back in, take your clothes, put them on the pole, crawl into your bunk if you had a bunk, if you had a tent in your rear area, you know. Out in the jungle, you just had, they come out with these nice little hammocks. Right. They were nice. They had, how you call it, you hung your hammock, had screens up the side, they had zippers at the screen, you had a roof, you put 2 poles in it, no matter how much it rained. And then the rain would come down and right off of you, you know, and you were dry, you know. But I'll never forget, sometime when I was out on patrol, later on, you know, sometimes, Jim, 3 months in the same clothes, same clothes. What's easy change? Mm-hmm. And you had to take salt pills every day, because your clothes would turn white, you know. And they brought raincoats, and everybody found out it was so hot and muggy down there that if you wore a raincoat, you was just as wet underneath the raincoat from the heat. You know? Mm-hmm. So most of the guys just let it rain on you, you know. So anyway, we stayed at Cape Gloucester for quite a while. Most of us got broke in to combat, most combat down in Cape Gloucester. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to ship everybody north. That's all we knew. So we started to train for landings, you know. And off of Cape Gloucester, they had a big bunch of ships, British, lots of British. So we'd get on the British ships, and here down the ladder into landing crafts and make beachheads, you know, because they knew where we're going now. They were going to be the first ones in on the beach. Here, we were on this British ship, and they were pretty good. I thought they were nice, you know. And this day, we were on there for 3 days, I think. Here, everybody had dysentery. I didn't at that time, you know. And here the boats come in, we jumped on the boats, and the general was on shore, you know, watching all of this. He come back to the company commander told us, in all these years, he never seen people get off the beach so fast. He said, boy, they were good. I said, yeah, you should have come back in after they got off the beach. Everybody had their pants down. They all had diarrhea, and they're all pooping in the jungle. They all got dysentery mm-hmm. off their kitchen somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know, they found that out later on. They made them clean up their transport. The British, they were dirty compared to ours. And I guess that's what had happened, eating off what they cooked, and they weren't sanitary, you know. But I'll never forget that the general telling all the commanders down there, boy, oh boy, them guys gonna make beachheads real good. Yeah, I told I call our company commander, I said, yeah, why do you come back in the woods? See, everybody had their pants down. They're all down there pooping in the jungle. So anyway, from Cape Gloucester, I forgot, went to Bougainville, too. from New Guinea, I ended up in Bougainville when I was down there. And from Bougainville is the 32nd Division was on New Guinea. Ended up in Bougainville when I was down there. And from Bougainville is the 32nd Division was on New Guinea. Seasoned troops out of Ohio. And while I was on Guadalcanal, there was a division of black soldiers. At that time when I went in, there was no blacks and white. The blacks were all on quartermaster or something of that nature. You had segregation at that time. So anyway, they made a division up. I forget the number. I think it was 99, but I ain't sure of what division. And they came into Guadalcanal when I was there yet. Here, they went to relieve the 32nd Division, Jim, up in Bougainville. And the 32nd pulled back from the front lines, and the colored people went up ahead of them, and they pulled back into a rest area. Here the Japs had a counteroffensive after the 32nd pulled back, and they hit the colored division, and they all broke ranks. They come back and they shot up the 32nd back where they were resting. They cleaned them up, the 32nd did. And the last I heard, they said the 32nd Division went, at that time they called them nigger, they went nigger out, you know. And they said they shot up that division, it was unbelievable. Because how many people? Because they were back in the rest area. And the 99 disappeared out of the Southwest Pacific. It never become a known division. There was nothing wrote about them, and that was the last I ever heard about them. But that story is true. So we'll get back now to where from I call Cape Gloucester on up to Admiralty Island, staging area at that time. Ship, as far as my eyes could see, I could see ships. And I said, now we're going to go someplace, maybe Japan. Well, in the meantime, the Leyte was taken by the Marines, Philippine Islands, the bottom island. So I'm over there on the ship, and the captain coming on the loudspeaker. Anybody wants to go to shore, you're entitled to 2 good cold beer on the Admiralty Island. And he named the bar joint there. Boy, what? So I heard that, and I said, well, I haven't had a cold beer since I left Hawaii, so I went around, hey, you going? No, I ain't going over there. No, I ain't going. Give me your pass. So I collected about 10, So I went ashore. And Murphy's Bar, I think they called it, on the Admiralty. And I noticed when I got off the landing barge, at the dock, that they had white sand. Down on Guadalcanal, New Guinea, and Cape Gloucester is all volcanic, black sand, Not thinking nothing of it. At that time, I never even rung a bell. I'm all burnt brown, black, whatever you want to call me, So I go to Murphy's Tavern, warehouse. They give you 2 cans of cold beer. So you come out of there because there's so many guys going in to drink. You had to get out of there because you cluttered up, So I go out and find a palm tree someplace and sit down and drink them. Drink the 2, go back in. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth. And I said, boy, them guys missed out, boy, it's good cold beer, So here I come down from my last trip, and then I get back on the ship. I get on the ship, and everybody looking at me and said, what the hell happened to you? And I looked at him, what the hell are you guys talking about? I said, boy, you're all burnt. I said, how the hell do you get burnt? I've been down here for 2 years almost. I said, I can't be burned. He said, yeah, you wait, you see tomorrow. My whole face peeled. Because the reflection, that's right by the equator again. The reflection of the sun off that white sand is just like a hot plate down there. Put it in your face. So anyway, stayed down there till they staged it. And now we knew we were going to Philippines, where I was going to go originally. But on Luzon, the big island, you know, we were going to make a beachhead. While we were in the harbor, two guys come down with spinal meningitis on our U.S. Republic ship, you know, down the hole. You know. And I said, holy cow, they run up, hike off some flags and says we're quarantined. Hell, we're quarantined. We can't go to Luzon. 2 days later, boy, big hospital ship pulled in. They took them two guys off. They give us a bunch of sulfur drugs and told us, you're ready to go now. And we went up and we were heading for Luzon. So we get into Luzon. We're spearhead. It's the first time that I made a landing. You know. And from Luzon, up in Luzon, while we were there, we were getting bombed, strafed, everything on the ship, you know. And I said, boy, oh boy, everybody, get us off the ship. Holy cow, they're like a sitting duck out there. Right. They're bombing you, they're spraying you and everything. And I never wanted to get down the hole, you know. So anyway, landing barges come in, they started to bombard Luzon Island, you know. And we were on one side, you know, I forget what's the name of that place. Anyway, Baguio was to the left. It was supposed to be like a resort, you know. Now, this is the first time that I'm going to see civilian people look half decent. So anyway, we made the beachhead. We had no trouble. We started to march. Cross, you know, advancing, you know, not too much fighting here and there pockets, you know. We walked all the way across the Philippine Islands. I thought we were going to go to that Baguio up at that resort. Well, another division went up there. They got shot up in Baguio because that's where all the rich people used to go years ago, like a resort for them, you know. So I walked across Luzon. Sporadic, a little bit of fight. Got to Clark Field. This is outside of the city of Luzon, you know. You got to secure Clark Field. Well, we went into, I don't know how many major battles till we got Clark Field, you know. And then from Clark Field, after we had the airfield secure, the Japs all pulled back to the hills. And there's where it got tough. I don't know how long I was up on that hill up there, getting shot up. The platoon sergeant got hit. He was done. They appointed the platoon guide. I was platoon guide, staff sergeant at that time. So anyway, the redhead guy, he got shot. That made me from platoon guide to platoon sergeant. So there was a hill there, I'll never forget it, loaded with Japs. I'll never forget that battle. And here we're sitting back there and watching these Americans try to climb it. Different companies, you know, try. They got shot off every time. And I knew down the road because my platoon was always point. Nobody else would be out there, just us, you know. Then you find out what's going on and you relay it back, you know. So anyway, come orders. Next day, Sergeant Molnar, we're going to bomb at daybreak and shell that mountain. You take your platoon, see what you can do, securing that ridge. Said we're getting shot up pretty bad up there. I looked at him and said, well, okay. Well, you can't say no. So I had no platoon leader. That gun was just rattling.
Yes, what's going to happen? Okay.
So we got a whole bunch of replacements came in from Cape Gloucester, what we got lost, you know, and then on up into Luzon, you know. So then these replacements that came were all young kids from the Midwest, most of them were. Just take over where we had casualties. You had casualties, you had malaria, you had guys with jungle rot, you had all kind of things, so they were replacing. So I had maybe 10, 12, I don't know how many my platoon replacements. So each squad had about BAR, one team. A BAR man and a weapons carrier for the BAR. So BAR is an automatic weapon. You pull the trigger on a BAR, 20 rounds in the clip, they go, they're done. So they teach you in your, wherever you took your rifle and everything, how to shoot the BAR. You're supposed to shoot the BAR in squirts. Every time you pull the trigger it was 5, 6. But that's the way. Or what happens if you're sitting there, you got tripod on it. So if you pulled the trigger, it actually lifts the gun barrel up, So that's the way you're supposed to shoot it. So I said, well, everybody, I did hear all them guys just shooting, going up the hill, shooting here, and they get kicked off or shot off, So had 4 BAR, 4 squads, in a platoon. I told all BAR men, come up with me. I lined them all up. I said, we're going to start from the bottom. And had these guys, boy, they carried a heck of a lot of ammunition, the weapons. The guys who carried the ammunition for the BAR. So they all lined up behind them, And we're going up over that hill, and we're shooting, we're going up, and we're cleaning out foxholes, They were all buttoned down, the Japs, they couldn't get out. I get up on top of the hill. I think I had 2 casualties on me, 2 guys were shot. I get up there and I said, boy, oh boy, I looked up at the sky and I said, thank you, good Lord. I said, we got up here. Didn't get shot up too bad. I said, well, now what they going to do? So I had my walkie-talkie. I'll call back to headquarters. I said, hey, I said, we're up here. Now what do we do? Sergeant Molnar, you secured valuable ground. You stay up there. The night, yeah. But yeah, but the Japs are on the other side. We know, but we got ground secured, and we don't want to give it up. So I told everybody, put the BARs up on the ridge, below, about 20 feet back. They were all dug foxholes, Made a little center where I was, Dug my foxhole. Got it all ready for, I call the attack from the other side. Because if one did get away, went up over this ridge, and they were on the other side. And we were on this side. All night, all I heard was rifle fire and grenades. Everybody throwing a little bit of noise, They'd throw grenades, keep the other guys from coming over. And I said, boy, we're in for it, We sat up there next morning, daybreak, Jimmy, all hell broke loose. Bullets flying all over. Not down at us, over us. They were putting down fire while they were leaving. I didn't know that. So we got 3 men hurt that day up there. Shot. They didn't kill them. Only 2 got killed. And they were on this side of the ridge. And as they were leaving, I didn't know they were leaving. It looked like they were attacked or not. So we were ready for them, because that's the second day. The first day, while we were there, the Japs started to come over, but as soon as they come up over the top of all them rifle fire and BRs, we just mowed them down and cleaned all the foxholes going up, So there was nothing behind us. I knew that, just up there. So then they all, whatever escaped, went back down over the other side. And there was one, this kid had a BR, and he's from Nebraska. And the Jap come over the hill, and he had a pistol, and he shot this kid right in the rib cage. And he's a nice kid, and after they wiped out the Japs, I went up there, and he was laying there, and I told him, I said, how you doing? He says, you know what, the funny part, it must have been a small caliber. He says, because it actually didn't go through him, you know. So called for medics and they took him down. And I found out later on, I went to see him in the hospital. It didn't kill him. And he shot that guy with the pistol, you know. And he was one of the BAR men, you know, that went up originally, you know. And after that little skirmish, we come down off the hill, we secured it, the Japs pulled out, and they left. And we were chasing them all over the damn island after that, you know. That's where a lot of these crazy things, this Shelton Vickers, that I says I'll never forget. He put his head up on the ridge, and we went up in the mountains, and I was down in the valley, and every time I was point, you know, they'd call me. I never had a second lieutenant, lasted a week. All of them got killed, every one of them. So we went down in this ravine. I'll never forget that day. I hated this kid. You couldn't talk to that kid. No, he just didn't listen to nobody. So we get down in there. And holy crap, we're laying down the bottom there. We got pinned down. There's another big hill, like a valley, and then another big hill. And the other guy, so I had the walkie-talkie, you know, so I'm calling up there. I says, for heaven's sake, I says, you can't hear me from down here. I said, why don't you get some artillery? And I said, holy crap, they're going to motor us. If they start motoring us, they're going to kill us all down there. About 40 men almost down in the bottom. And here, by golly, I could have reached up some of them shells, but I felt good. I could hear them coming over the ridge, you know, and then coming down. And that slowed them up on the other side. And this kid's up there. He says, hey, it looks pretty good over there now. And he's talking to me, you know, hollering, you know. And I looked at him and I says, okay, I says, now that we got that going. He said, yeah, they're going to bring airplanes in too. I said, well, we're not going to be down here when the airplanes come in because we can't mark nothing down here. I says, we're coming up out. Tell the captain. So while they were shelling with the shells, I told them how far they were and where they're going. But I never knew at that time, for every 50 shells they shoot, you're going to get 5 that's going to be short or long. That's where a lot of our troops get killed, because you pinpoint one gun, and then these other guys, once they got it pinpointed, they send over smoke shells. Now you watch where that smoke shell landed. If you know where the Japs are, you tell them right, maybe 50 yards, you know, from where they had it. And then as soon as you give them direction, they say, the other 4 or 5 batteries, they say fire, you know, because they think they got it pinpointed. That never entered my mind at that time, you know. But when they started to shell them real good, I took my men. I said, all right, all you guys up. Get over that dang bridge up on top. I said, so we can get out of this hole. And you know what? Another guy got killed going back. You know, we got back up on top. And I said, holy crap. So, after we got back up on top, they says, well, the Japs ain't up there. No, I said, they're gone from on the other side of that bridge. I said, they left. So, they pulled us back from there to a staging area, you know. And we went back there, and then about a week later, they called and they says, Sergeant Molnar, you wanted in the captain's office. I said, now what? Oh, be damned. He told me, he says, there's a big pocket of Japs spotted such and such a place up there. He says, we're going to go up there to accompany it. You know. I said,